fingers and hands.
Yeah, that's probably going to work a lot better. So, well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another night with Scuba and the Ry.
Ry? Guy, it is.
So, another dark and stormy night. Oh, wait. No, it's not.
It's not a stormy night, but there is a hurricane off the coast.
Another one?
Yeah, it's kind of brushing up on the side, kicking up the waves. That's about it.
Oh, yeah. I think it was that one that was like, began with an H or something. It's like...
I didn't even know until I saw the news.
I get notifications because with Dorian blowing through, I changed my weather predicting app to the same one I use on the computer at work.
Okay.
And that was and then now I get all these notifications. This hurricane's upgraded to this. This hurricane's downgraded to that. And it's like, great.
Too many notifications. Look at your phone. It's 50 notifications. Up, down, up, down.
It's not even my phone. It's my watch.
Yeah. Your wrist will just be vibrating the whole time.
I know. Anyways. So, what you been up to?
What have I been up to? Nothing much. Always the same stuff. A little bit twists and turns, but, I keep it simple. Keep it going.
Keep it simple.
So, weekend, my friend Madelle had a birthday party for her son, so we went ahead and did that, me and my girlfriend.
Oh, cool.
And then we also said bon voyage to her brother. He went back to Nevada. Back to the good old barracks for the Air Force.
Yeah, well, is he Nellis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad base.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I wouldn't know, but I know it's near Vegas.
I've been there. I actually have a few pictures of the Threat Museum when I was active duty and we did our school training. We actually took a trip to Nellis and hung out there. So it was a group of Marines on an Air Force base.
Yeah. So did pretty much that. Other than that, been just catching up on some animes, some simulcasts from across the way. Getting through Mindhunters. It's a show on Netflix, so hopefully maybe within the next couple podcasts I'll have a review.
Okay.
It's 2 seasons, almost done with season 2, and so far so good. It's really good, really interesting show.
Nice. For me, it was had the Storm Area 51 event at the airsoft field, and that was a riot.
Any alien encounters?
A few. It had this set up where you had these inflatables, like pool toys or whatever, and the guards were protecting, and the quote unquote Kyles were supposed to go and retrieve them from the town, and it was walking around. It's like we have this one building that's a precinct with little bars on the window. They got an inflatable alien with his hands on the bars. They had another one in the tower looking out. They had one sitting in the driver's seat of one of the trucks.
It's like a fetch quest, and wow.
It was just about having fun out there. It really was. The kids had a blast. Skittles was supposed to be a rock thrower, but so I got her a bottle of low-cost BBs so she could throw them. She ended up not throwing them, but wandering around and refilling people's magazines as they ran out of ammo on the field.
It's like, get up and go, charge.
Yeah, so she had fun. It was good times. Had a lot of people were out there, a lot of people to say hi and how's it going. It wasn't bad.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun.
I would think so. If you combine, an idea of Storm in Area 51, there's a lot of different things that can happen.
And the whole for the Naruto runners, there was people who came fully dressed out cosplay.
I already have the image in my head.
There was
even
one
with the squiggly lines.
But the guy who stuck out the most to me is the dude who rolled up in there wearing a Pikachu onesie.
Where was I with this?
I don't know, but he was a little too tall for the outfit, But he rolled up there. He had a bottle of Mountain Dew taped to one arm, a can of Monster taped to the other arm, had a vest, and a bag of Doritos taped to the back of the vest. Which, like, oh, that's kind of gimmicky until I'm standing in the tower and he comes in and goes, "Hey, you guys hungry?" It's like, no, there's literally Doritos in the bag.
hey, you know.
So it's like, eat your Doritos while you're in the town.
It's
like,
a useful costume.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Everybody had a good time. The kids got patches. They were able to at the end of the day they could. So it's good fun, great times, and it was just crazy. So, and that's probably the biggest event I've seen yet. And even though I've only been there a few months, but I'm looking forward to the next one.
I would guess there's a couple of cool ideas that can be spawned out because Halloween is next month.
The weekend before Halloween is the zombie event. Skittles wants to do. Initially, she wanted to do all day zombie. Okay. Now she wants to be a survivor. So it's like, all right, well, keep your grades up. We'll let you be a survivor. And Trip, I think he wants to. I think he wants to do it, but we'll see how his grades last.
Hey, have some motivation.
But I think it'll be fun because it's like getting into the winter and it's like, this post-apocalyptic thing. So
yeah, different time, different setting, weather will.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people who hibernate over the summer will be coming out. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that kind of
should
dynamic.
It be more people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more people, more fun. Have to get things and move things around. So, but it wasn't bad. So aside from that, and then Sunday was another D&D game. This is the game that the crew I called the Airsoft crew, but I think they're gonna settle on a team name here soon. But we had most of the party there, and they were traveling from these ruins of a town in the adventure. It's called Thumbletree Ruins, Thumbletree town, and they decided, hey, we're kind of have a bunch of stuff to sell. Let's travel to the nearest settlement, which happens to be the city of Neverwinter in Forgotten Realms, and it's about a 25-mile walk.
Okay.
Now, based on the rules, a party can travel 24 miles in a 10-hour period. So it's like, all right, we'll give them the other mile here. And then they go, and I used random tables to kind of see, and sure enough, the party managed to avoid not one, but 4 different encounters with wildlife.
Is it all based on the toss of the dice, or
one
decisions?
One of the books is called Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and they have and one of the nice things is they have random encounter tables for different environments.
Okay.
The area, the trek between Doubletree and Neverwinter is considered grassland.
Okay.
So I have this, and then they break it down, a D100. For levels 1 through 5, levels 6 through 10, so on and so forth. So you have your difficulty level.
Okay.
So it was like, okay, first it was rhinoceros. They saw a rhinoceros. They're like, yeah, we're not going to startle it, because they opted to travel at night too. This party's real big on traveling at night. Then the next one, the weather changed, and it was a high wind. Because there's an actual table where you can choose your weather conditions.
Okay.
Because I was trying to, a little more using these little tidbits to add a little more detail instead of, okay, you walk into a tavern, here's the bartender, blah blah blah. It's all right. Well, let's see what else happens as you travel. Well, there was a high wind and several swarms of insects. Well, on my part, I rolled high wind, then I rolled the insects. Like, well, wait a minute. Insects, high wind, not going to last long.
No.
So they avoided that one. And then the next one is a group of pterodons flying over, and the party sees it and is like, all right. They just lay down on the ground and try to be as inconspicuous as possible. And the dice roll works, and the pterodons fly away. And then the last one is like these 3 flightless birds called axe beaks, which are really just kind of nasty creatures with attitude. Came down to drink from the water, and they decided, we're going to stealth our way around that, and they managed to succeed there too. So it was like, okay.
Luck of the throw.
I know, right? Well, then they get into town and immediately spread out. It's like Saladin's character, he rolls over to this working man's tavern, gets the guy to make him a meat pie with dragon meat, and just sits there and eats his meat pie and drinks his breakfast and breakfast drink and hangs out. Another one of the players, he rolls in there. He does the same. He just kind of hangs out for that too. So the two of them crash in that inn. The girls take their characters and they go find a blacksmith to sell dragon hide. They sell it. They get new armor, and then they find a upper scale inn and crash. And then another character, he wandered off to get information, and the NPC that they convinced to travel with them is left there going, where'd everybody go?
Left alone.
So now it's like when they get together next month, it'll be, okay, y'all are in various points in the city of Neverwinter. I guess you gotta find each other.
It's like, let's just play hide and seek, but this time everybody's seeking.
Well, it's going to be good because part of this was like a kind of a crossroads thing.
Okay.
In case they wanted to go on new adventures. Like one of the big things is D&D Beyond and Wizards of the Coast is about to release their new adventure book. It's Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus, which given perspective, it's like Neverwinter is almost the farthest north city.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate is the farthest south. So this is like 400 miles of travel to get from Neverwinter to Baldur's Gate. But Baldur's Gate, made famous predominantly for a lot of cultures through the video game Baldur's Gate by BioWare.
Have familiarity with it.
But they're fleshing this out again in 5th edition. And Avernus happens to be where the demons and the denizens of the nine hells do their eternal battle for supremacy. So it's going to have some interesting flavors in there, but it's a new adventure that the characters could go in, especially because it's about to be released. I think it should be getting released in probably the next few weeks. Today's 17th. I think it got released today.
Well, there you
go. Might
go.
be, but that'll be a new
to the
thing.
pot.
Yeah, and I have several adventures already, so this is good to get into new things and do new things.
It gives you an option just in case the other ones don't pan out.
Well, yeah, and it's like, okay, here's this chance to go on some of these other adventures instead of finishing this out. So it's like, what's the party going to do? Because it's all about what they want to do.
Oh, yeah. It seems to be, from all of these D&D games, you and Professor Umbra, talk about, there always seems to be a lot of scattering of the decisions. It's like, here's the story, but let's go over
it's collaborative storytelling. So it's like
it's very interesting. It piques interest. Dive in.
Yeah, which I think it'll be a lot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that rattled off most of what I've done, and you rattled off what you did.
Yeah. The only other thing I did over the weekend was
check out a movie.
Check out a movie.
Yeah, which I guess I'll segue into our usual thing we do, which we talk about your movie reviews.
The review of a movie.
Yes. And this week it was Hustlers.
Yes, Hustlers, starring Jennifer Lopez and Constance Wu. Constance Wu, most people will know her from the famed film from last year, Crazy Rich Asians. So it's more of a different role for her because Crazy Rich Asians was more of a romantic comedy, whereas this one is more of a crime drama.
Okay.
Mixed in with the element of strippers.
All right, I'll be honest. First, of course I haven't seen this yet because I don't go to the movies very often, but I'm seeing this and just knee-jerk reaction. I'm thinking striptease back in the 90s, showgirls back in the 90s. those types of movies.
It has elements of, well, if you see a movie that says Hustlers and the main point is it follows a group of strippers, you would think that at first.
Well, I mean,
on the surface.
Striptease with Demi Moore had some interesting elements in it, but both of those focused on following a particular stripper through that whole industry, good, bad, or indifferent. But there's so this is kind of a new.
Yeah, this is kind of a new. Well, more or less a new take, but it takes the elements of strippers in the strip club world, but it mixes in the true element of crime drama, because this is inspired by a true story. So the characters involved are real characters. But like any true stories, you mix in the element, but you also want to create a journey. So, fantasize, give and take from two halves of a whole.
Okay. So what did you like about the movie?
Okay. Well, like I said, the movie centers around two main leads, Constant Wu and Jennifer Lopez. Constant Wu's named character is Destiny, and she's more of the main focus because she goes and joins a strip club in New York because she's just trying to find a way to make money, for her and her grandmother, and then she befriends Ramona, who's Jennifer Lopez's characters. So this movie, I could break it down into two halves. The first half focuses more on the strip club aura, that world and stuff. So you get to understand the characters, who they are. You get to understand what they do at the strip club and understand all the hoopla that involves the Wall Street men that come to that strip club, because the strip club is in New York. So it's pretty much close to Wall Street. And then it changes because what happens is they think they're living the high life. They're making good money at the strip club. She's making money for her grandmother, able to pay off debt, yada, yada, yada. And then 2008 happens. And anybody that knows what happens in 2008, the housing bubble crashed. Wall Street went into a tumble. So you see the after effects of that, not just from the money perspective and the housing perspective, but you see all the little people that get affected, and this shows an angle of those little people, because the people on Wall Street, they have no money, so they're not going to strip clubs, so these strippers are losing money.
Amazing how industry works that way.
So basically now Destiny is out of an income, and then she gets certain things happen and she falls into hard times, but then she comes back in contact with Ramona, and they hatch a plan to where they start doing some illegal activities to get people into the strip club and or special rooms to get their money.
Okay.
So
I see here it's like some tropes of Goodfellas and Casino. I mean, those are some pretty iconic.
Yeah, the way that this film does, it takes the outline of a gangster film, but mixes it in with a female empowerment, but also the strip club world. So using that trifecta angle, it adds layer of depth to the characters, because, like I mentioned in the first half, you gain attraction to these women, and you understand their strife. But once that housing bubble crashes, you start to see the flaws in their character. So the hustle of what they do on the pole starts to reverberate into certain crime elements, and their own caricature starts to fracture in their personality. So they just go out and just hustle, regardless of the other person they're stealing the money from are good or bad. So you start to see a little a haze against morality, something that you find in like Goodfellas and Casino, where people are making decisions not just because it's the right thing to do, it's just because they're just trying to make some money. That's so fair. There's some pitfalls that happen in the second half that play against gangster tropes. So has a very predictable sense, but because the film already built you to be fond or attached to these characters, it never takes away from the enjoyment.
All right, so what are a couple things you weren't too thrilled with?
I wouldn't say the aspect of too thrilled, but like the obviousness of the gangster tropes. Like, because if you have an understanding of how gangster films work, you can see how certain pitfalls happen. You have some ancillary characters around Constant Wu and Jennifer Lopez that why they're there, what roles they're playing, and how they factor in to certain plot point ramifications.
Okay. So, Final ruling?
Final ruling. It's one of the best crime dramas I've seen in a while. It's a very great film. One of the best roles I've seen Jennifer Lopez in, and it's probably a role that might get her some Oscar buzz. And it's actually one of my favorite films of the year. Okay. So overall, even with how the greatness is, it still has that predictability of the gangster tropes in the second half, so it kind of brings it down just a wee bit, but it's still worth the time at the theater. It's worth the full price. It is worth it. I say go check it out. You will not be disappointed, especially if you like crime dramas, good storytelling, and a little bit of twist with that strip club vibe. Okay. So, yeah.
So 4 out of 5 then.
Yeah, and trust me, it is rated R for a reason.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Not just the crime element and drop in language here and there. Just because it has that strip club element, there's a reason why it's rated R.
Yeah. Can't really see that being just the name alone. I really can't see that.
Oh yeah,
because there'd be just too many people who would be like, really?
I see this movie as one of those genuine standout surprise films for me, because every year there's a film that catches me that I wasn't expecting because I wasn't looking forward to it. It was just kind of there. That movie for me last year was Simple Favor. This is that movie this year. This is the one where it's like, wow, wasn't expecting, but it might end up in my top 10 at the end of the year.
Fair enough. All right. And so no other movies reviewed this week, right?
Nothing on deck. Like I said, might have some review coming up for Mindhunters once I finish season 2.
Okay.
Other than that, not really. I know the Rambo movie comes out this weekend.
I actually would really like to see that.
So, and I know Ad Astra comes out next week.
Oh, that's the new one with
Brad Pitt. So,
that's right.
And that one's getting pretty good buzz. So we'll see.
Well, most of the stuff Brad Pitt does lately, it's going to be worth the watch.
So those are the next 2 films to finish out the month that I'll probably check out.
Okay.
And then the start of October is Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know how it's been doing out on the film circuit. So
yeah, through the various indie conventions or whatever, which tends to be a prelude to the Oscars. I've seen.
Yeah, Joker.
Especially in the time I've known you and we've talked about this, it's becoming recognizable. Okay, when these various indie film conventions get together, the movies that really stand out tend to be the ones that get a lot of buzz.
Yeah. They have a lot of film festivals throughout the year, but like near the end, like you have the Toronto Film Festival, you have Cannes, and you really have to pinpoint what are they talking about there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So for that, I guess we'll transition into some movie and TV type news.
Moving on.
And first thing, because we just can't seem to get away from it, and that is Game of Thrones. So what did you find out on what did you find on the webs about Game of Thrones?
So what I found on the interwebs is not only do they have one prequel series that they're working on, which is the one where they're going back 1,000 years and focus on the long winter and focus on
the long night and all that.
Yeah, focus on the children of the forest and the White Walkers and their creation and the history you don't know. It could be different than what is told in the tales, but they're also supposedly working on a second prequel series, one that focuses on the Targaryens and the rise and fall of the Targaryens, set 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones. So it will focus on the dominance of the House Targaryen and the rise and fall. So it sounds like that they're going to focus on when they were ruling over on the other continent in Essos, and what happened to Valeria and the Doom.
And coming over to Westeros?
Yeah. So we might actually get some explanation on what happened to them, in Essos, and what happened with their empire there. So it'd be interesting to see. And not actually being set so far back like the other prequel series, they have more creative license, so there's not a book for them to go off of.
Yeah. So, I think that works out really well, because you don't want to end up butting up against what happened in the seasons. So what is your take on this second spin-off prequel? I'm curious about both of them. I'm probably more curious about the Long Night because I guess the whole thing with the Starks struck me as caught my attention a lot more than the other houses. But I mean, come on, Targaryens and dragons. I mean, really?
Yeah, and I like that they're not just like cannibalizing on each other, because when you look at both prequel series and set them next to each other, you have one, they're in two different eras, so you have two different creative ways to go with, and two, it gets to expand the world of Game of Thrones without ruining what we know. Because
it would be nice if there was some semblance of crossover. Yes, it's two different eras. Yeah. But if it's, okay, the one with the Long Night happens, and then a callback to it in the Targaryen one.
I would think they'll have some kind of link, but being so far apart from each other, one taking 300 years, the other one taking 1,000 years, you'll definitely have enough time where, there's not going to be, how is this and that?
Actually, what I think would be really hilarious for both of them?
Would it be hilarious?
This just came to me because I was thinking about it. Is we know Bran the Broken?
Yes.
Is the Three-Eyed Raven? The Three-Eyed Raven can see the past and the present
and the future.
It's like, do a How I Met Your Mother type of intro with Bran sitting there talking about days of yore.
It'd be like back in my day when it was cold and dreary.
Yeah,
there were some blue eyes.
See, that would be more kind of hilarity thing, which is definitely not Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that would be funny, but I don't think it would play with the tone of how the Game of Thrones is. No. So I'm guessing they're going to keep the same kind of adult-rated tone for these two prequel series, and especially being on HBO, they have free reign on doing whatever they want. But like between the two series, even though this one piques my interest because it is focusing on the Targaryens, so you get to see a how-to of the rise and fall, and dragons. But the original one, the one prequel series that they're working on right now, is the one I'm really looking forward to because it's focused on the Age of Heroes. So we're gonna get two compliments. So hopefully, wet my whistle and my Game of Thrones love. So it'll keep me going and excited for years to come.
Well, you have that Game of Thrones stuff. Me, I think I'll see that and raise you some news from Mr. Gunn.
What's Gunn got for us?
Gunn's got the release of the cast of Suicide Squad.
Yep. He did, as reported on IGN, he did drop the list. It's 24 actors and actresses. Some notable names on this list that points out that are newcomers. John Cena, Nathan Fillion, Stormry, Taika Waititi, Alice Braga, and Idris Elba. So those are some big names. Oh, and Michael Rooker. So those are some big.
Peter Capaldi, come on, the Doctor.
I mean, he's big in some circuits, but those are some big names that I see that are coming into it.
That's gonna be a crazy cast.
Yeah, and one of the names that surprised me, which we talked about in the pre-show, which I did not even think she was coming back.
Margaret Robbie?
Yeah, when I saw that name pop up, I was like, huh.
Yeah, because it was
interesting.
Looks like Margaret Robbie is returning.
Viola Davis is returning.
And
you have
Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, Joel Kinnaman and Jai Courtney. Some of the notable names from the original movie.
Cat Boomerang, Rick Flag, Harley Quinn, and of course The Wall.
But yeah, James Gunn also pointed out, like, even though it's such a huge cast, don't expect them all to survive.
Oh no! I mean, come on, this is Task Force X, for crying out loud.
So how do you see this list and how you see it playing out?
Considering what James Gunn has done with Marvel properties, I think this is going to be an absolute riot.
I think he's going to be able to do his own little spin like he did with Guardians, but with even though we know what happened with the first film, so people still have some familiarity. He can actually make it fresh and new again, because with such a huge cast and a lot of these people that have worked with him in the past, they know his little quirky styleness and his little witty dialogue. He'll give a fresh take on some some craziness.
And I'm curious to see what he does with John Cena, because John Cena's only done a few movies outside of the WWE.
Oh yeah.
Taika Waititi. I mean, this is going to be after we see him do Thor Ragnarok. We see him do the voice he does, and then that new World War II spoof where he's playing as Hitler.
A Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit. It's like, this is going to be funny. Man, I think his character is going to just have one of those things where it's like, wait, what?
He has a way of he has that same kind of like humor that James Gunn has, that like ridiculous kind of borderline of interesting humor. But
yeah, and I'm curious to see who's going to play who. I mean, there are talks. Some of these people, we're gonna have like King Shark. We're gonna have all kinds of peeps in here, and it's like,
and being unfamiliar with a lot of DC characters that show up in a Suicide Squad, it'll definitely be an opening of eyes for me, because I'll get to learn some new things.
Well, it's like Michael Rooker. I mean, it's like him coming in, and then Idris Elba being a take on Slade Wilson.
Yeah, that's what the rumor is, that he's going to be playing Slade Wilson instead of replacing Will Smith as Deadshot.
Yeah, or Bronze Tiger.
Which I don't really know much of, but like I said,
there was a
recent
what I know of Bronze Tiger is from the recent animated Suicide Squad movie.
Okay.
Where it ties in with the Flashpoint paradox.
Okay.
So if you watch the DC animated Flashpoint paradox and then watch this, you'll see the crossover element. It's kind of hilarious, but just seeing all these people and what they might be playing, it's like, this movie could be really, really hilarious.
It's going to be hilariously bloody death-filled, because if you have that many people, James Gunn is going to add some little twistiness. Because if you've ever watched his other movies beyond Guardians of the Galaxy, like Slither, he can play with some material.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping Nathan Fillion is Green Lantern.
That would be great.
Because that's like been a fan thing for years, is have Nathan Fillion be Green Lantern, Hal Jordan.
Oh yeah, but like I said, they don't really say who he is in the article, but they just say he's there. So
I do like this comment in the article. It's like purely speculation, but it's curious how so many actors in this cast. The obvious reason was such a bulky cast. James Gunn wants to make a show of killing a bunch of them in order to show off just how disposable these villains are to Amanda Waller. It's like,
which makes sense, because that's the whole point of her forming Suicide Squad, is that they're just dispensable.
X. Yeah. These are criminals. These are convicts. If they die, who cares?
Yeah. It's like, you go, oh, you shot. Okay, pull in another one. There you go. Oh, you're hanged. Get him over there.
Yeah, so I think I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be hilarious.
Oh, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. And I have faith that James Gunn will make something witty. Even if it's just slightly better than the original Suicide Squad, he'll make anything better.
I think the original Suicide Squad suffered from editing.
You read my mind when you said that, because
there are parts of it that just don't make any sense.
Like, the transition between scenes to scene in a movie is horrendous, and it just you can tell that people went in and chopped up because things are missing, character interactions are wonky, and just the whole third act was just.
Do we really need an origin story for Harley Quinn?
We don't. We know what she is. We know what she does.
Yeah. A bit of sad news.
Well, sad for some people. It's probably great for others, because they've been ripping them off.
I'll be honest, I'm not even familiar with this, so I'm going to let you take lead on that, because this feels like something you might have had your hand in. And maybe I'm typecasting you at this point.
Maybe typecast, because I have A-list with AMC.
Maybe.
But we say sayonara to the famed and potentially great thing called Movie Pass. As of September 14th, 2019, it's being shut down.
Oh, now, what was this?
This was a subscription service that gave you unlimited access to seeing movies at the theater. You would pay for like a subscription to be able to go see any movie at any time in the month. So unlimited access for a certain price.
So who
said it was too good to be true?
So is this like one of those things? It's like this isn't for a particular movie theater chain. This is like
this was a
glorified gift card or preloaded Visa.
You could say that, but it was more of you pay. Let me just throw a number out there: $7.99 a month. You get a card, and you would go to the theater. You would swipe it, and it would work with whatever movie you wanted to go. So you would go and you would log in your account and say, I'm going to go here and do this. So when you swiped it at the thing, it would just print out the ticket.
Okay.
But they struggled through their 2-year journey because, like I said, it was too good to be true. And just when you look at it on the surface, paying a subscription for unlimited access of any movie at the theater, there's got to be some collateral and some money behind it. That. And they were just burning through their funds. So what they try to do, they try to switch up the model, and it didn't work. They said they tried to switch it to where you can only see a limited amount of movies a month. It didn't work. Or you can only go and see certain movies at certain times, and it just faltered.
Oh, this is obviously something I never heard about.
Yeah, and one thing is that once the big chains picked up on this, they kind of pushed them to the side and created their own. They could never form a true partnership with either the studios or the movie chains because they didn't. They saw MoviePass as just a bleeding horse. So, but the positive, it actually forced movie chains to change their ways a little bit because now AMC has the A-list. Regal theaters have their subscription service now, and AMC Alamo Drafthouse is another big movie chain that has their own little thing going on. So even though they MoviePass faltered, it presented a model that the theaters have adapted to.
Okay, well that's interesting. I remember recently I was over visiting with my dad, and we were talking about that.
Oh yeah,
the whole subscription model and of course I had it fresh on my mind because we've talked about it several times here. So.
But yeah, I mean, even as it falters, it did present a foundation for theater chains to adapt.
Okay.
But the thing is that the theater chains found a way to make it work because they didn't see the unlimited as a way of working. So, because like I said, A-list is you pay the $20 a month and you get 3 free tickets a week for any movie.
Terrible.
Yeah. So for me and my girlfriend, I'm paying the price of 1 for 2 tickets.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thinking now that we've talked about that, I'm gonna make a quick detour and talk about something else that's just extremely odd and weird, and again, just has me shaking my head about KFC. And you sent me the article. I saw it. I'm just like, really? Again? Apparently KFC wants to test out another new food item.
Hey, now, we had that Popeyes Chick-fil-A battle a few weeks ago, so not to mention...
No. To me, this...
They're trying
Remember a few years ago, they tried to get on the whole thing with, like, let's just toss out the bun and replace it with 2 chicken patties.
It was called a double down, or it was
double down.
Double
down. The double down. It was like that was just horrible.
I remember friends of us eating it and then feeling bad after eating it, but still.
I think I even tried it once, but yeah. But now they want to do. You've heard of waffles and chicken tenders. Well, now how about donuts, chicken sandwich? I mean, really?
So KFC is going to be introducing a chicken sandwich where the buns are donuts.
And it's not, and judging from the picture in this article, it's like it's not even a donut cut in half. I got 2 glazed donuts.
Okay. So from the article from CNN, it says customers have 2 options: a chicken and donut basket meal for $5.49, not a bad price, which includes chicken tenders or bone chicken plus a donut. Or a chicken sandwich for $5.99, featuring a fried chicken patty between 2 donut buns. The much more exciting option.
I'm going to go with
quoting CNN on that.
I'm gonna go with no. But
the second I saw this, I'm like, I'm already diving to rabbit holes when I find news articles online.
Here's something else. Because again, I see this, I'm going, really? But also, I know you don't particularly go to KFC very often anymore.
I don't normally eat fast food at all.
Okay.
Except for Chick-fil-A.
I go on occasion,
Well,
I try to pick nicely. But here's my point. You and I remember the Double Down.
Yes, the Double Down.
Back in your days when you did eat fast food.
Yeah, and I was a roly-poly rolling down hills. Yes.
Well, I'm trying to become a lot smaller. But, all right. Since then, we've had them mix Cinnabon with their biscuits.
Yes, I do remember that ad. I saw that.
I've seen it. It does not look... It's basically a KFC biscuit with Cinnabon drizzle. Wow. No.
That's not a breakfast item, but okay.
All right. Recently, they did a Cheetos mac and cheese. They have their $5 fill-up bowl, right?
Yes, I know the fill-up
They
bowl.
recently did one where they used the Cheetos sauce and seasoning in this fill-up bowl.
That just sounds horribly awesome, but okay.
And now they've come out with a new one, which is you have your $5 fill-up bowl, which traditionally is mashed potatoes, gravy, and the popcorn chicken with some corn. It's like a shepherd's pie and whatever. Yeah. Now they have it instead of the mashed potatoes, they use their mac and cheese. Group of us went and tried this. One of us, I went for the spicy one because I'm thinking, at least maybe if I get some spicy food in, it'll help the metabolism a little bit, and it made it edible. The other guy with us, he got halfway through his and was like, "It's too much cheese," and pushed it aside because KFC mac and cheese is a little on the creamy side.
Yeah.
And then the third person, then Saladin, who was with us, he ate most of his.
I don't think.
But the two of them both had the plain version. I had the spicy version, but I'm like, I tried it once. I'm good. I tried their Cheetos thing because it was like the spicy Cheetos they were trying to mix in there, and it's just, I'm not seeing this as a good thing.
Yeah, the KFC likes to mix and match it outside of their typical buckets of chicken. But
really, I mean, we got places that you can get waffles and chicken tenders, and now we're gonna do like a donut sandwich with a chicken patty.
Throw a curveball in that chicken war. So at least the only thing is, it does say this is only available in Norfolk, in Richmond, Virginia, and Pittsburgh. Those are the only places they're trying it out.
Well, my whole thing is. You look at the trend of food service lately, and where places are really struggling, it's people are trying to eat healthier. And here KFC, again, on their track record, has come out with this food item that would make, I have to venture to think, that would make any dietitian go, yes, if you eat that, don't eat for the week. Because there's all your carbs and all this other crap in your system.
That sounds like 2 days worth of meals in that one sandwich.
I mean, I can picture the nutritionists I've talked to it's like, hey, what do you think of this? And they'd be like, yeah.
It's no different to when Krispy Kreme introduced that burger with the donut.
Oh. You had to remind me of that.
I have to.
You did.
I have to. You're going down the rabbit hole. Let's just keep on going.
You're right. Till you hit the bottom. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just stick with my buckets of chicken.
I'm thinking about this and then thinking about things that are just weird because the Movie Pass thing, honestly, I've never heard of.
Yeah, it started a while back.
I thought when I first glanced over the article, or first hearing about it, I'm thinking Movie Pass. I'm thinking that's a digital download place.
Nope.
Not a subscription.
But I almost mutual friend trying to get me to sign up for it. And I was like, nah, this is too good to be true. I'm going to just pay the full price.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair.
Let's rewind.
Well, back to some TV stuff. I guess micro section will be our Disney Plus watch.
The plus of the Disney
Plus seems to be constantly doing cool things.
Yeah, there has been something we've been talking about recently with Disney Plus and hopes, especially you hoping hopes and dreams.
Yeah, so, my hopes and dreams were the classic 90s animation block being put on Disney Plus. I was like, I'm on the fence about it. I know I'm going to get it because of the kids, but I'm on the fence of personally enjoying it unless they... And sure enough, you send me in the article, it looks like it's confirmed. The 90s the 90s afternoon cartoons are coming to Disney Plus.
As reported on IGN, this has been confirmed. This ain't a rumor. This ain't just hush-hush newsworthy stuff around the
because they reference an article that you can go to see the entire listing of everything coming to Disney Plus that they are aware of. And it's like, we're going to see Chip and Dale, we're going to see Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles, Goof Troop, Adventures of the Gummy Bears, and of course DuckTales.
Yeah, you're just I look at the list and I'm just jumping for joy. I'm like excited, especially I grew up watching Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales. You know, woohoo! And it just gets my goosebumps.
Well, the thing is, this morning we were doing the parents post bus stop meeting.
Parents post stop. That's interesting.
So like the three of us are out there. We have our coffees or whatever. We hang out with the kids. The kids get on the bus, and then we just kind of stand there a minute and just kind of socialize. And I had brought this up to them, and it's like, hey, because obviously parents right now are our age group and would be aware of this. It's like, Disney cartoon, 90s Disney cartoons, done. I'm good.
Yeah, there's with this news, it just adds more tidbit of how awesome this streaming service is going to be. Like, there's already potential with all the stuff we've already talked about, you know, with the Star Wars show, all the Marvel stuff, Pixar doing some original content, Disney doing their own original content. But let's go.
Let's tap into that other bit in there. It's like, not only do we have the 90s Disney, but it looks like we're getting the 90s Fox cartoons too.
Yeah, it's also being rumored, or strong rumored, out there that it looks like on top of the 90s stuff that Disney had, that because of that Fox acquisition, thank you Jesus, that we will be getting the 90s Marvel's cartoons, which includes X-Men, Spider-Man, and all of those incredible things from the 90s. Iron Man, Fantastic Four, The Incredible Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Spider-Man Unlimited. Holy guacamole, am I excited. And the nostalgia just keeps building, and that subscription service is looking prime and pristine every day.
Oh yeah, I'm sold. I mean, the article here has got a picture of a guy, his Twitter picture of a guy who's got a picture of the X-Men thing, and it's like 90s X-Men was so great.
90s X-Men, I grew up watching that religiously. That's why the X-Men 90s cartoon is the reason I got into comics and comic books. That's why
actually, ironically, a really good reboot of the X-Men franchise on the comic side as well, because that's the one a lot of people recognize, which is good going into the whole House of X and Powers Within.
Like, I mean, everything on this list is incredible if they bring it.
I'm definitely opting for the full package deal. This is going to be fun.
I will be watching that X-Men show over and over and over and over, bleeding my subscription dry.
Well, not to, because we gotta say it. I'm sure people have heard this, but we talked Fox cartoons. We also have to talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to Fox cartoon series. And that's The Simpsons.
Yeah, but that was
told me that. What was that again about The Simpsons?
Yes, this was already announced when they first announced Disney Plus, and after the Fox deal is like at launch, all 30 seasons are going to be available on Disney Plus.
30 seasons?
Yes.
I lost track of how I can't even. I just boggles my mind.
Yeah, it's insane.
That cartoon has lasted for 30 seasons.
Yeah, it's insane how long it's been on the air, because now it's more than just one group of people that watch it. It's generations of people that watch Simpsons, and there's a different take and twist on the formula that the Simpsons are. So even though it might not be your cup of tea now, there's a portion of The Simpsons that you did enjoy at
Oh
some
yeah,
point.
yeah. I'm thinking the '90s Simpsons stuff was probably some of my favorite. But wow, Disney
It's just-
Plus, loving it.
Yeah, I know we talk about the House of Mouse a lot over here, like woohoo, but like when you have all that material coming out, and for the price that they are saying, it's just insane.
Well, speaking of streaming services, Netflix has seemed to have acquired a pretty big, some pretty good streaming news.
Oh yeah, this one just came out recently. Everybody knows is that a lot of the news channels are jumping into the streaming services. So that means that a lot of licenses that are on streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, they're losing it. So they have to find ways to counter it. So because
and for context, since we're talking about that, we're talking the fact that Netflix is going to lose Friends and The Office.
yes, so they're gonna lose big ones like those because of NBC Universal releasing their own streaming service.
Yeah, which we knew about because there was a deal that Disney was a part of with that, because NBC Universal, when they do launch their service, are going to sell. They've already entered into a contract to sell their share of Hulu to Disney.
Yeah, so there's benefits, and it is all across the board, and it's just moving shows from one platform to another. But the thing is, Netflix went ahead of the game. Is like, okay, we need another big recognizable name to be on our streaming service when we lose Friends in The Office, and that big name
is the one that's the daddy, the big daddy of the group.
Yeah, the big daddy of them all, the big iconic 90s sitcom Seinfeld is going to be exclusively over on Netflix starting in 2021, as reported by comicbook.com.
So that might be good, because to be honest, I haven't seen the whole series.
I've seen Seinfeld.
I think it was a little
all
bit
over the
before
place.
I think I remember being in high school when the last episode aired.
Yeah, Seinfeld was before my time of cognition when it came to TV.
Yeah,
but it is a representation of the 90s, so it's probably a show I would enjoy watching.
Oh yeah, that's just gonna be great seeing that whole thing again, and some of those jokes are so iconic. I can't wait to sit down and watch it. But
you'll get to.
This
watch
tells me
them.
I need to catch up on Friends and watch through that.
Oh yeah, so that's what I've been doing, because I watched Friends back in the day, but I'm just rewatching Friends. So Friends is leaving in 2020, like you said, and The Office is leaving in 2021. So
speaking of NBC and streaming, there looks like they're also going to do a reboot of a show, a beloved 90s show.
Oh yeah, it was reported. Like, news just keeps falling by the wayside. NBC is looking to reboot that famed, iconic in some circles. My circle.
I loved watching that show,
Yeah.
even the college years, and that is Saved by the Bell.
Yes. So, as reported by consequenceofsound.net, NBC is heading back to Bayside with a reboot of the beloved 90s teen comedy Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to have Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley, which, considering we were talking at the top of this with Hustlers, and I had mentioned those 90s era stripper-themed movies. Elizabeth Berkley did one.
Oh, yes.
After her whole time was Saved by the Bell. It did not do well for her career.
Sometimes it just doesn't help out.
And then Mario Lopez, who's been doing a lot of America's Funniest Home Videos and a lot of Animal Planet stuff.
Yeah, he does a lot of being the host. Everywhere.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, this revival is going to be on NBC Universal's streaming service, Peacock. And they're, like you said, Lopez and Berkeley are going to reprise their roles in this new show.
And the thing is, the part of this that really caught my eye is like, if we remember, it's like we see this title that reboot Saved by the Bell with Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley. It's like, all right, and they're coming back as AC Slater and Jesse, and it's like, all right, cool. What happened? I wonder what the rest of them are up to. I wonder what everybody's going on. And then it has the tagline, oh, FYI, Zach Morris is governor of California. Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. So, going into that tagline, as Consequence Sound puts it, when California's Governor Zach Morris gets into hot water for closing too many low-income high schools, of course. He proposes they send the affected students to the highest performing school in the state, including Bayside High. The influx of new students gives the overprivileged Bayside kids a much needed and hilarious dose of reality. So it looks like they're spinning the nostalgia of what that 90s show was, but merging it in with the social commentary of today. So it's going to be it looks like it's going to be a good play on stuff.
I think it'll be hilarious to at least check it out.
And just keep up with that, Peacock will be launching next year in April. So look forward to that in April.
Cool. Alright.
And just to add note, just to spice it up for this, does mention down here they are thinking of doing a reboot of Battlestar Galactica on that streaming service.
Really? A third one?
That's what it says here. But
we'll have to watch the second one.
We'll look into that later at another podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to talk Battlestar Galactica. And I think, since we're talking about all this cool stuff, I think we also have to take a moment to give credit where credit is due. And that is Ash Ketchum finally won a league championship.
Yes. So it's been since the mid-90s we've been following Ash Ketchum on his journey to become a Pokemon master.
22 seasons.
Yeah, and he's gone from league to league, fighting, getting badges and fighting up through the league championships.
And not to mention all the other shenanigans that goes on with Lugia, Mewtwo, and all these other ones. And it's like...
So him and his trusty Pikachu have been struggling to make it to the top. And he finally did it.
No, it said league champion. It didn't say he was a Pokemon master. It means he finally won a league championship.
Yes. Yeah, he was a master
like this is a whole show about a kid who is perpetually 10 years old.
The very best. 10 years old every day.
Yeah, perpetually 10 years old, wandering the world, and doesn't win trophies like that?
Oh yeah, I mean there was one part of the series where he won a championship in the Orange Islands, but the Orange Islands aren't really part of the group, so they're just kind of over there, so that doesn't count. But as reported on IGN, it's in the 139th episode of the Pokemon Sun and Moon animated series in the tropical Aloha region. Ash finally took home the title of Pokemon League champion.
About bloody time. It's like, man, they've really found a way to just gloss over the fact this kid has been wandering around for years and years and years, but he never ages.
Never ages, but that's typical of some cartoons.
And it's like, I want to be the best. It's like, okay, but we never see how many tournaments he actually plays in. We always seem to catch him traveling from tournament to tournament. Yeah,
it's been a real struggle out there for him. I can feel it, But this also plays in the fact that he finally won, a league champion. It does play into the fact that they are going. It seems like they're going in a different direction when they bring back the Pokemon series later this fall, because that was a rumor out there in the Japanese anime interwebs, is that he was finally going to win one, which will solidify the end of this iteration and bridge into a new iteration.
Oh, that'll be fun to watch.
So it's bittersweet, but you knew eventually at some point he was going to win a league championship.
Yeah, I mean everybody has to win at some point.
Yeah,
it's just hard work and determination. He is a poster child for working hard and adversity.
Hey, he's stayed young for 22 years, so he's got the formula. He's got the formula to stay in his prime.
That's fair.
And he has a Pikachu. Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, that electric shock therapy.
Yeah. Pika. Thunderbolt. Activate.
I think what we're going to do to close things out is talk about some tech stuff.
What we got on the tech market today?
Well, a couple of articles that a family member had found and sent over because, we're in the age of mobile devices and touchscreens.
Staying connected constantly 24/7.
And one of the things I've been looking at trying to do is, upgrade things to be a smart house.
Yes.
I mean, I already have the Echoes and some of the Philips lights, which are really useful, make nice routines.
A lot of people have the Amazon stuff connected
to their house. The Amazon
stuff.
There's the Apple HomeKit stuff. And Correct. We talked earlier this year about some of the new changes to for Apple HomeKit coming out of Apple's WWDC conference.
Oh yeah, they got a lot of interesting stuff.
So, since we talked the Apple side, let's talk the other side, which is like the Google side, because Google and Apple and Amazon seem to be the big three.
Yeah. And
Amazon, I've noticed that every time they release products, there's all this backwards compatibility with their products.
Yeah, they make sure everything works backwards, even to an extent, for a time.
And Apple, of course, has got its security. It's going in there, and it's like, if it works, you're getting to the point where if it works with Amazon, it's also going to work with Apple.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. But then there's Google, and we got this article from CNET about some recent changes to the Google landscape when it comes to their smart home devices, and how it looks like they're changing up the product line, but they're not going to make it backwards compatible.
Yeah, from reading this article, the understanding is they had a combination of Google and the Nest products, and they were going to stick with it, and then all of a sudden they decided to change it up and make a whole new model called Works with Google Assistant. So instead of actually providing some adaptability with what they have, they decided that wanted to shell away what they had and build something new without any kind of compatibility.
See, that strikes me as just greed.
Yeah.
That's not functionality, which is something I thought Google was more about functionality.
Yeah, Google is known for all that functionality for so many years. So when looking at this article, it's kind of interesting they would just revert to something indifferent to what their own model is.
Well, on the other hand, now that I think as pondering it, it's like, that's not entirely surprising, because remember when Google had their own social media thing as it tried to be a competitor to Facebook?
I believe it was called Google Plus.
Yeah.
Or yeah, was it?
Google Plus. It was supposed to be their social media hub.
Yeah, their Facebook, as you would say.
And they shut that down a couple of years ago because they just could not compete.
Yeah, that. And
not only could they not compete with Facebook, but there are too many other things coming online, which had far better functionality.
Yeah. It's just they took long to tap into that market, and I can understand a company that big wanting to get a piece of the pie, but you also have to look at the context of maybe it's just not worth it in the long run. Mm-hmm. Maybe diving into too many things instead of just working with the group.
And I think this whole smart home stuff, it's great as long as everything works together.
Yeah. I think even with this stumbling block, Google will find a way to make it work, because they have their own varied ecosystem that does work a lot. So
which is good, because I was actually looking to get a Nest.
Yeah.
Look up how my HVAC connections are, get a Nest that's appropriate for my system, and start working on getting that. I know Saladin, a friend of ours, has a Nest in his house.
Yeah.
And he uses it, and he's actually been able to get the temperature in the house pretty stabilized.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's like,
I think the products are good. It's just how Google was going about moving forward.
Yeah, I think I might have to look into some of the alternatives.
Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of just learning how-tos, and if you know how to, then it can get it to work, like any other kind of device.
Oh yeah, very much so. So, just a quick tidbit on that. And our next one is, again, we're talking security and communications. And CNET put out this list of 5 reasons why you should never trust a free VPN service.
Yeah.
This to me seems like a Darwinism kind of deal. It's like, I'm not, it's secure connections, but I want it for free?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's just like a smack in the face of protection, because it's like you just let fate take its course, and the people that decide to grab something that's supposed to protect you for free, let them fall in the rabbit hole of not being it.
Well, it's also, we have to look at the fact, okay, I want a free service. There's nothing for free.
There's nothing
ever
for free.
There is a cost. The cost is not to you if it's free, but there is a cost.
Yeah. It's no different from play to pay subscription service for games, some music streaming apps, etc., etc. Like you'll have free to an extent.
Like, it's like one of the games I have, Lemmings.
Yes.
I play Lemmings. It's free, but I'm bombarded with ads, and I cannot turn them off.
Oh yeah, that is funny because that is one of the 5 things they mention here. So since you talked about ads, well, I'll just jump to that.
Okay,
that
jump
point.
to that one. I'll grab another one.
That point, one thing they mention about when it comes to anything free, including the free VPN, they call this the ad avalanche. So because it's free, they have to find some way to counter that freedom. So you're aggressively bombarded with ads when you're using these free VPNs.
Yeah. Another thing since we're talking costs, I'll go to the top of the list and how they're not safe because the company has to make money somehow to keep in business. So a vast majority of the top free VPNs actually take your data and sell it to third parties.
Yeah, it mentions it's like when you have to, it's a cost effective manner. Like you have to have a product and you have to have money to run it. So you got to find ways around it. So the free apps have been accused of selling their stuff to offshore accounts and to Chinese authorities, according to 2 independent 28 investigations into free VPN apps. So it's you can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
So if you want to put your data out there for free, somebody's going to grab it, even if it's supposedly security protected.
Oh yeah, and then because it's free, it's a lower quality. Can't get what you pay for. And next thing on the list is you open yourself up for malware.
Yeah, because even if you're secure, that wall is not going to protect everything out there. So it's going to be a speckle frame of a web. So for every virus, it protects 2 or 3 other malware will sneak in because it's going under a different program or a different design.
Yeah. It's like Norton had a study where it was like they showed a 54% increase year over year in the various mobile malware, ransomware, stuff like that. Yeah. It's like that's becoming a major headache.
Which it plays into the part of number 1 is a cost efficiency. So you got to have money to be able to invest in investigating, encountering all this different malware out there. So if you don't have the capital, because you don't have any subscription because it's free, you can't battle 100% of the malware. You're only going to be batting 75, 76, 80% maybe.
And that's only if it's been triaged through a higher income, a higher budgeted group that can actually spend the time to troubleshoot. Excuse me. Another thing, another item on the list is buffering. Well, I mean, this kind of calls to why would I want a VPN service instead of my cell network?
Yeah, it just hits the head on the noggin. It's like you already have, out here Verizon prompting up 5G and T-Mobile doing the same thing.
Don't get me started on 5G.
But
don't get me started on 5G.
But I'm just saying, like you have your cell networks that are propping up better networks, and then you want to use a free thing that'll just
here's
shorten
the thing.
Shorten the tunnel.
Okay, I have my cell network, but I like to have my coffee in the coffee shop and sit there with my laptop and read whatever's on the blogs, and they have free Wi-Fi, so I get in there. Well, then I'm warned, hey, free Wi-Fi is a security vulnerability because you're just out there for anyone else within range. Hack5 has done this on numerous stories about free Wi-Fi. So maybe I would get a VPN so that I could better secure my web searching.
Yes.
Because I'm tunneling into the specific server, which is again what VPNs are designed to do. Which they have their functionality, but you get a free one, and because it's then another instance is, hey, I'm traveling abroad. Well, I'm going to go to a country that's going to that my streaming services are going to block the content based on the region I'm in.
Yeah.
Which we all know there's plenty of regions. It's like, oh, Game of Thrones is too violent, therefore it's blocked.
Yeah.
Or, I don't like the political opinions of this show or that show in this region, so the government has blocked access to it. And the services are like, hey, if I have to operate, I have to do these things. So, But it's the fact that with the free ones, they're cutting costs, so it's not... You're not able to watch anything if you stream the show.
You have a connection, but how long is that connection going to take?
It's a lot like the sync and drive I have in my Wrangler.
Yeah.
It's great for 2 gigs, and after that, it's crap. Because it's like it buffers. I mean, when I was on my trip in Wisconsin, I had the cell phone and I had the sync drive plugged in. Well, I would open up the map, and it's connected to the Wi-Fi via the sync drive.
Yeah.
And it would take forever to load. If I turned off the Wi-Fi and went to the cell network, it loaded.
What a shocker.
It's like... And that's what I'm thinking when I see this bit about here buffering. It's like, yeah. You have crappy connection, you have crappy connection.
You get what you pay, or in this case, not pay for.
So, all that said, number 5 reason to not trust it is...
Just pay for it.
Yep.
Yeah. If you pay for the subscription, if you pay for the app, if you pay for the program, you're going to get better quality because it's going to improve over time.
And it's going to improve a lot faster than the free stuff. Because, hey, you're contributing money into it. They're not having to cut corners to save costs. They're actually able to invest in the development of the application.
You got the money in the pot. You can build bigger and better things. And then you might not have to buffer watching that episode of Game of Thrones.
No. I'll just download it and then pull it off the thumb drive later.
Sifting through the interwebs.
Yes, so...
Make sure you have that VPN.
A little bit of security corner stuff. Pay attention on your smart home devices and think before you... VPN is a great buzzword, especially now that it's in the mobile space, but come on. Let's think about how VPNs are supposed to work, and do you really want a free, secure service like that? Is it really secure if it's free?
Yeah, as Darwin said, survival of the fittest with a free VPN.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well, we hit our list. Anything? I don't think we had much else.
No. I think, we drove through that list of topics and articles. There was a lot of newsworthy items coming up.
I think we're getting better at this whole, going through things. I know side stuff is like the new issues of House of X and Powers of 10 is out. I think we got 2 more, and then the series are done.
Yeah, I heard that series is getting pretty well. I'm getting knee-deep in Devil May Cry 5, so... Might have another game review coming up. Working on my stories. Looking forward to the local Neptune Festival in a couple weekends.
Oh, yeah. Neptune Festival.
Which includes the Sandcastles.
And you're going to go watch Rambo.
Going to check out Rambo.
Rambo Last Blood tonight, or this weekend? That's the plan, right? Or is that next month?
Which one?
Rambo Last Blood.
Yeah, that comes out this weekend.
That's this weekend? Oh, that's right. That's why there's the increased TV.
Yep. So, the only thing else is just thank you all to who's supporting. Spread the word.
Yep.
Friends and family. Everybody in between.
Yep. Everything's up. Check us out. Leave us reviews. And we'll catch you on our next session. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.